I'm Chelsea.
I'm Kushi. Today's topic is victim mentality. Why am I so happy?
I don't know, but today's topic is victim mindset.
Oh, it's like
Mentality, mindset, playing the victim card. Basically, victim mentality or mindset is when you're like, I always do, I noticed when I was editing, when I'm talking, I'm like this.
victim mindset is...
It's my anxiety tick. I'm like, I do this. Okay, anyways, I won't do it anymore. Okay, basically, victim mentality or mindset is when you think that everything in your life is against you and you try to blame everything else except for yourself for the situation that you're in. The thing is, you can't control external things in your life. You can't control what happens to you except for your reaction.
Oh my god, stop. That's literally my first quote. Is you can't control everything
Same
that happens
wavelength.
to you, but you can control how you respond.
Exactly. The thing is, bad things happen to good people all the time. You can't control external things. The only thing that you can control is how you react to the things happening to you or to the situations that you're in. And you have to know that, like, this is your life. As like we said in the last video, right? You are the main character. It's your life. Nothing in your life can be against you. Even if it's a bad thing, it's happening to teach you a lesson.
You're not defined by, like, what happens to you, so don't, like, pretend you're the victim, but, like, you're defined by, like, how you react to it.
Exactly.
So, like, if you are gonna be the victim all the time and, like, be like, oh, this happened to me and that happened to me and my life is so bad, then that's how people are gonna, like, view you, is, like, you know.
Yeah, a victim, like,
Yeah.
Oh, poor girl, poor. You want people to pity you?
Yeah, exactly. No, you want people to see you as powerful.
Yeah, as a strong person,
Yeah.
which you are. And I'm not saying you're not allowed to feel, like, any, like, sadness or anything. Feel it, process your emotions, but don't, like, stay stuck in that mindset of, like...
Like, you can complain about it once or twice, but if you keep saying the same
Yeah.
things over and over again and you're not doing anything about it, then people are gonna stop caring, because no one wants to hear about your little life complaints, like,
Exactly.
1,000 times.
Nobody wants to hear
Even
you
if they're,
be
like,
sad.
Your best friend or your family, like...
Nobody wants to hear you, like, that negativity.
Yeah.
Because also, like, you have to think about the impact that your words have on other people as well. Like, if you're constantly in a negative mindset, you're also putting everybody else around you in a negative mindset. And that being said, it's not like you can't share your feelings with somebody. Like, it's good to share your feelings with people. But if you're constantly like, oh, life sucks.
If life sucks, then you want find a way to make it better.
Yeah,
like,
it's
you
your
need
life.
to take action to,
Steps.
like, move on.
Yeah. You need to, like, when something bad happens, you need to process it. You need to let your feelings, you need to let yourself feel your feelings. And then you need to let it go and make peace with it and put it in the past. Because you can't change the past unless you're, like, a time traveler or something. You can't change the past.
Also, if you're, like, stuck on, like, one thing that happened to you, then you need to, like, ask yourself why you're stuck on it. Because there's always going to be, like, a deeper emotion or, like...
Deeper reason.
Yeah, that you're, like, feeling a certain way. So
Yeah.
if you're, like, life sucks, then why does your life suck? And then make it better, you know?
You have the power to find positivity in every interaction. If it was a bad interaction, like, think of what it taught you.
And learn from it. And grow from it. And become a better person from it.
Yeah. Like, if that person was mean to you, now you know, like, you don't need to interact with that person.
Also, if someone's ever being mean to you, it's probably for their own personal reason, not because of something that
you did. Yeah, so you don't even need to
They're
take it
just
to heart.
Insecure.
How many times have you, like, lashed out at somebody because you were having a bad day?
Yeah. It needs to go in one ear and out the other.
In one ear, out the other. If you change the way that you think, you can literally change your life. You have complaints, so do all the other people on this planet.
8 billion people.
8 billion people in this world. So stop complaining and do something that can actually change your life. How are you going to change your life if you're just sitting on your couch being like, life sucks, everything's bad, my ex did this, my ex did that, my mom did this, my friend is being a meanie. A meanie, like, okay, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to communicate that with them? Or, like, are you going to fix it?
If
are you
they're,
going to move on?
Like, on the topic of friends, but like if they're your friends, then you're gonna have to be able to like communicate with them, and if you can't do that, then drop them. Like,
Yeah. If they
Like-
make you feel like guilty about feeling a certain way,
yeah.
they're not your friend.
Unless it's like you that keeps complaining and they call you out on it.
Yeah.
If your friend is giving you like actual good advice, then take it, please.
You need to listen to your friend if
Like-
they're giving you advice.
Yeah. Like if your friend is giving you all this good advice and you don't take it, then that's your fault. Because they're
Yeah.
trying to help you, and
They
they're-
tried to help
yeah.
you. And then you can't blame them if one day they're like, I really don't think that we should be friends anymore. You can't
Yeah.
blame them because you decided the moment that you decided not to listen to them that you didn't value your friendship with them.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to tell you to fix something and you're just not listening.
Also, why would you ask your friend for advice
And then not take it.
Yeah.
If you've been like dwelling on a situation and you keep talking about it
Yeah.
over and over again and your friend is like, you know what, you need to snap out of it, you need
Maybe
to listen
listen
to
to
them.
them.
You need
Maybe
to listen to
listen.
them because that is your real friend and they're telling you to stop ruining your life on one situation. Okay? Because if you're constantly thinking life is against me, then life is going to be against you. Cuz why would think your brain has all the power. Like if you're like, "Oh, life is so good," you're going to see the goodness in everything. If you're like, "Oh, it sucks, it sucks, it sucks," you're not going to be able to find happiness in anything in life.
Oh my God, let me share this other quote I have, because
Mhm.
it says, healing begins when you decide that your past no longer has power over you. So, like, if you're gonna sit there and be the victim, then you're not gonna heal, and you're not gonna grow from it, and you're just gonna be, like, not-
Stagnant.
Yeah, what's that?
Stagnant. Like you're not moving. 'Cause
Oh.
you're just in one place.
Yeah, learning new things. New vocabulary unlocked.
Yeah, your friends should not. Also, this is also a really, really like important thing. Your friends should not be holding you back. They should be inspiring you. If your friend doesn't have even like one quality that inspires you or makes you want to be a better person, then you need to find better friends. Because if your friend is miserable, guess what? You're gonna be miserable too. You are who you hang out with the most. So like if you're constantly hanging out with people who have a negative mindset about life and a negative mindset about everything in general, then you're slowly gonna have that same mindset because they're not pushing you to grow.
If you look at the bigger picture, do you really want to spend your how many years of life you have left being a victim and being like in a bad mindset, or do you want to spend your life happy and like live life to the fullest? You know?
Yeah. Because nobody's holding a gun
100%.
to your head. Yeah, that made sense. Nobody's holding a gun to your head and telling you you need to think bad things about your life. You need to have
Besides
a
yourself,
negative
you
mindset.
know?
Yeah. Nobody's telling you what to do. Nobody's like
And if there is a gun to your head, take it away and point it back at them.
But literally nobody is holding a gun to your head and telling you what to do. So stop blaming other people for where you are in life. Okay, stop blaming external things for you not waking up at the time that you told yourself you were gonna wake up. If you said, "Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up at 6:00," and then you didn't wake up, that's a promise that you made to yourself. Nobody asked you to wake up at 6:00. You decided that you wanted to wake up at 6:00, and then you broke that promise with yourself. Nobody else is at fault except for you. So when you're like, "Oh, why am I, like my morning sucks, I didn't wake up at the right time," that's your fault. Your alarm rang and you didn't wake up. So unless your alarm didn't ring, that's
Yeah.
a different story. If your alarm rang and you're like, 5 more minutes, and then you just never woke up, that's your fault. That's your fault for not getting out of bed. You can't blame anything else.
That also goes with like schoolwork and stuff. Like if you like say that you're gonna do something and then you don't do it, and then you're like, "Oh, I had like other things going on. Like I had like I don't want to call people out. But, like,
Call them out, call them out, call them out, call them out.
No, it's okay. It's okay. If you're like complaining about like your workload and like how much homework you have, and then but you don't go home and you don't do it and you just put it off because I don't know, you were busy like doing other stuff, which is reasonable if it's like actually something that you had to get done before. But if you're like scrolling on your phone and being on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and you're not doing your work, and then you go to school the next day and you're like, oh my god, I didn't get my work done, then that's your fault. That's you, and something you need to figure out. Like,
yeah, literally, I took a communications class online over the winter semester, and in one of the textbooks, I read that as humans, we look for other things to blame when things don't go our way. You know, like if we're late for work, we're like, oh, there's traffic, you know, my coffee spilled everywhere, I didn't know what to do, like that's why I was late. You never like take accountability. You're not like, oh yeah, like I woke up late, so I was late, like, you know, that's my fault. But like every time something good happens and every time something does work out, you're like, oh yeah, that was my hard work, I put time and stuff into it.
yeah.
You know, so like whenever something goes wrong, you always look for external things to blame, and that's a huge part of victim mindset, is that you're looking for everything else to blame except for yourself, when in reality you're the only one that controls the choices that you make in life. So you're the only one to blame if you're miserable in life. Like, reality check, hello, if you're miserable, it's because of yourself. There's nobody else making your life miserable. But anyways, your reality is a mirror of yourself. So when you see good in yourself, thank you. Thank you.
Philosopher.
But anyways, when you see
music?
Yeah, I was outside. But when you see love in yourself, when you start loving yourself, you see love in everything else. Like, everything else is just, you ever think of like when you're in a relationship or like when you have a crush, right? You're like, oh, life is so good, you know, like you're happy and you're like, I get to see my crush today. That feeling, you should like try to bring that feeling about yourself. Like, oh, I get to wake up, I get to dress up, like do whatever, I get to live my life today. You know?
Because there's some people, like, if you're complaining about, like, I don't know, like, you have a long drive to work, then be, like, grateful that you have a car and that you can drive. You know, like, some people can't do that. Some people have to take the bus, some people have to walk. Like, just be grateful for the things that you have in your life.
That's true.
Like, if you, like, are complaining about waking up, then at least be grateful that you are waking up. Like, some people, maybe they don't wake up.
Yeah.
Ever. They don't wake up. That's a little dark, but like, you know, you get the point. Like,
but yeah, I think gratitude, when you like start to be grateful. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Start to be grateful.
What's the rest of your like?
My sentence?
Yeah.
Oh, when you start to be grateful for like the little things in life, it'll like literally show in the way that you're seeing everything. Like when you're like, oh, I'm so grateful that I can wear shoes today. Like, oh, I'm so grateful for my socks because it's cold outside and I don't want my toes freezing. When you find gratitude in the little things, you'll feel happiness about the rest of your life as well. Like you'll see it reflected in the rest of your life.
Like, you don't have to be You don't have to just be grateful for like the big things. You could also like find happiness in small things. You know?
Tiny things, right? Like, oh, I have a toothbrush.
Yeah.
Yay, I can clean my teeth.
Not have cavities.
Yeah, like, oh, I have a blanket, I have a pillow to sleep on.
Yeah.
So many people don't have that, you know? Oh, I also, my whole confession was my friend's story. But I saw this advice on TikTok like a year ago, and it's still in my brain. I saw this woman saying that whenever she gets like in that mindset of like my life sucks, or like everything bad is happening to me, you know, she thinks of herself as like the main character in a book or a movie, and then she zooms out, meaning like she pretends like she's an outsider viewing her movie or reading her book, and then she thinks of what that reader or viewer might want her to do next in the situation, like what the reader might want the author to write next about the character doing in the situation, and then that's what she does.
Yeah. And also, like, think about like literally any book, because I'm sure there's at least like one book that you've read where the main character is just so unbelievably like annoying, and it's probably because of like their mindset, like because
They're crying all
I've
the
read
time.
like so many books where the main character is like just like
Crying
not
all
like
the time.
dumb, but they're just like making stupid decisions and they're not learning from anything, and they're just like complaining like, oh, this happened to me and this happened, and like I did not finish that book. Let me just tell you that.
The whole point of life is for you to learn from all the experiences that you've had and grow from it. If you have experiences and you're like not gonna grow from them, then what's the point of life? Why are you living?
Yeah.
Why are you living? You're living because you have to learn
Yeah.
to have a better life.
Yeah.
If
Also,
that makes sense.
I saw this like today. I was watching the show One Tree Hill, and there was like this thing. I think he was quoting someone else actually, but like there was something that one of the characters said, and they said that like there are like bad things are gonna happen throughout like the stages of your life, and some are gonna be big and then some are gonna be small, but like no matter how much you like try to stop it, it's not gonna work. Like no matter what, like bad things are gonna happen, and like for some people it's gonna be worse, and then for some people it's gonna be easier, but it's always gonna happen at like one point in your life, and the only way to get through that is like to learn from it and to like be the bigger like person, even though the bad thing doesn't have to be a person, it could be a thing,
Yeah.
but like just be the bigger person
Know
and, like,
how to
you know.
overcome the situation.
Yeah.
Like, and like, trust me when I say that, when we say that we know how hard it is to get over anxiety and insecurities and things like that.
Anxiety especially.
Anxiety for sure. Like, even this, like,
Bro.
even this, like, starting it scared us.
Yeah.
You know how it feels to have, like, anxiety or, like, some, like, you know, like a mental thing that's
I
like,
thought you were
blocking
gonna say
you.
mental disorder. I'm like, girl.
like a mental blockage that's like preventing you from pushing forward.
Yeah.
And like you're allowed to feel scared and you're allowed to feel sad and angry and frustrated, but we're saying you can't stay in that state of mind for the rest of your life, because then you're not gonna get the full lesson that life has to give you.
I was gonna say experience.
Yeah, full experience that life has to give you. You're not gonna get it if you're constantly like moping around.
Like
Nobody wants a moping around person, okay? All your friends are gonna leave because nobody wants to be near that negative energy. Negativity. I was gonna say negativity, and then I was like, negativity energy. But also, like, if you need help processing your emotions and you don't have access to therapy or anything like that, you know, sometimes people don't have access to resources like that, journal. Like, literally, in your phone, even in your notes app, you don't need to have a whole book for it to be a journal. Like, you could literally type it out in your notes section, like, I'm feeling this way, or write it down. Whatever works for you, but, like, get your feelings out.
yeah, you can record yourself talking.
Yeah, you can record. I did that so many times during my senior year. My senior year, like when I would wait for you guys after track practice, I would literally have like my camera. I'd be like, oh my god, today my friend did this, and I was so annoyed about it. I was like, and then this person did this, and I got so mad.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then maybe
post my
like
feelings.
watch it back and then see how you sound, because that's how you sound to other people.
Yeah. That's true. Cause like, a couple days ago, I got really mad at her. Like really mad. This is my confession, part 2.
Part 2.
I got really mad at her. We talked about it yesterday. But I got really mad at her, and I wrote literally 4 pages in my journal ranting to her about her. Because she has a journal that she writes in that she's going to give to me when she finishes. So it's like her journal to me, and I have a journal
I
to
also
her.
have pages. Well, I think it's like from
I
the
also
same
have
day,
pages.
probably. No, because I remember the day that you texted me, you're like, oh, I have something to tell you. I was like, oh, me too, bro. Like, me too.
But anyways, I have literally 4 pages written down, and then I reread it, and I was like, maybe I'm like being a little over dramatic here. Like, it was really dramatic. I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
also, we talked about it.
We talked about it, yeah.
So
Maybe resolved,
yeah.
you know? Like, and I think it also helps you process how you want to address the situation. If it's with if it's with another person, it helps you, like, kind of build what you want to say to that person without coming off like straight off aggressive, because when you haven't processed your feelings and you try to confront somebody, it's gonna be hurtful to the other person.
And you always have to look at, cut you off, but like you have to like think about like if there's an issue with like someone else, you have to think that they also have their own side, and then you have their own side too, or your side. you have their own. You know, there are two sides.
There are two
sides
to everything.
So if you like have a complaint and you just like tell them without even thinking about it, then they like also probably have something, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just have to think about both sides.
Both sides.
Process what you have to do first.
And then think about what their situation is as well, and then like kind of.
And even if you don't understand their situation like right off the bat, you can talk to them. And
and then they can communicate their situation to you. So next time you get into that type of mindset of like, oh, everything in life is against me, like, oh, this bad thing happened to me, try to find the good in it, right? Like, I have an example. Also, I am just like throwing out examples. Like, I have so many examples for this. But one of my friends, she's out of state, so well, that's not important. Anyway, she was going home, and this isn't funny. I don't know why I'm laughing. No. Well, I was laughing because the out of state thing. But anyways, she was going home, and this guy would not leave her alone. Like, he kept like following her around, and he was like, oh, can I talk to you? He was just trying to like talk to her, and like he just kept getting closer and closer and closer, and like, but she is a martial arts student, so like if anything were to happen, like she can take care of herself, like she's good. So anyways, like that whole thing happened, and like nothing, thank God nothing like actually bad happened. The only thing was that guy made her super, super uncomfortable and scared. But anyways, so she told me all of this, and I was like, oh my God, that's so scary, like, you're right. But now, like, her mindset towards men in general is, like, I hate men. And it, like, the other day, we went to a cafe, and, like, obviously, there's gonna be men around. But, like, every time a man passed by, she'd be like, oh, men. And, like, went on a whole, like, 10-minute rant about hating men, and I was like, like, I'm not, like, the biggest fan of men, you know? Like, I'm not a man defender, but, like, but, like, maybe I was, like,
a little aggressive.
I was, like, what is going on? And me and my other friend are just, like, trying to tell her, like, but, like, it's not everybody, you know? Like, you can't live your life thinking that every single man that you come across is bad. Even though, like, that's our instinct as women, like, every single, like, we have to be cautious, but you can't just straight up, like, see a man and be like, I hate him. I hate him. That was what she said. Yeah, she was like, I hate men. I hate that guy. And I was like, what is going on? What is happening, right? And
you were like projecting onto other people.
She was projecting one situation onto everybody else. And she's kind of stuck in that mindset of like, well, this one thing happened to me, so if I interact with any other man, it's going to happen again, you know? And so, like, me and my other friend tried to, like, kind of talk to her about it. No, we literally spent 4 hours talking to her about it at the cafe. We stayed at the cafe till like 7, till it almost closed, explaining to her why we need to fix whatever's going on. Like, she needs to talk about it to somebody, maybe a professional, or like, I don't know, because we tried and, you know, it didn't work. So, but anyways, that was our
I'm cold.
Thank God I wore a long sleeve, bro. But yeah, so the whole point of that was like you can't use one situation as an excuse to then project that onto everything else and be like, life sucks. You know? You can't project one situation onto everything else. That was one situation, it's in the past. You have to process your emotions and you have to let it be because you can't change it.
Yeah.
But what you can change is how you act moving forward. That's it. So that was our advice.
And rant.
Yeah, so if you're ever frustrated, angry, sad, anything, happy even, journal about it or put it in your notes app to process. Talk to somebody, anything. Right?
Color, whatever you want to do.
Anything that's therapeutic to you. You know, whatever works for you, process your emotions and put it in the past. Leave it. What's done is done. It can't be undone.
Yeah.
Oh, period. Anyways, so make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Spotify, and turn on your notifications for Spotify because we post every day on. Not every day.
I was like, wait, every day? I was like, I didn't know that.
We post every week, Saturday, and we post every day on our TikTok and Instagram. So make sure you go follow us at Crowned Confessions.
Literally everywhere. Crown Confessions.
Crowned Confessions everywhere.